Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part 3 of our entertainment show, each week we premiere a new sort of TV series or movies that are debuting in Ireland and UK this month, and especially in Ireland with Irish sort of interest. And we're delighted to speak about a new show. Season 1 is debuting here in Ireland on channel Apple TV on March 29th, and we're delighted to say it's an Irish actor who's the main star in this role. He's the leading light in terms of this project. All our listeners might know the one and only Chris O'Dowd. He is going to play the role of Dusty Hubbard, Mr. Hubbard, in the smash hit show, which has gone down to much acclaim so far, and looks a very good sort of comedical sort of twist. 10 episodes in all in season 1. And no doubt there'll be more in terms of future seasons. It's called the Big Door Prize. It features a cast of, we said, Chris O'Dowd, Gabrielle Dennis, Josh Segarra, Ali Maki, Crystal Fox, Juliet Amory, Patrick Kerr, and our special guest this evening, the one and only Gillian Rabin, who plays the role of Lydia. And Gillian, first of all, Chris O'Dowd, is he as funny in person? Did you find to meet him as what he is in terms of his real life sort of persona? Did he make you smile, laugh, giggle, etc.?
Yes, he did. He's really incredible. He's very funny. Yeah, he was awesome.
And Gillian, how did the opportunity come about for you to get cast in this project? I know it was shot in your home state of Atlanta, Georgia. So were they looking for local actors and actresses for sort of various sort of roles? And was your talent agent recommended that this big project was coming to town, that it was shooting in terms of Atlanta, Georgia, and they were looking for a certain person in terms of a certain characteristics and character? Or how did the opportunity come about for you to get involved in the Big Door Prize?
So yes, you kind of nailed it. So Atlanta is a pretty hot spot for production right now for TV and film. And my agent at the time had sent over an audition for a different character, actually, not for Lydia. It was for the character Savannah, which is played by Elizabeth Hunter, who's also incredible. And I just remember like reading the script and the sides, and there are like certain moments where you just know as an actor, you're like, this is something special. And I submitted my audition and I heard nothing back. And that was in November of 2021. And then in January, I got a call from my agent, and she said that I was pinned for the role of Lydia. And I was like, who is that? And so, but then I went on to do like costume fittings, and I got to figure out who Lydia was and kind of create the character from there. And it was really awesome. Yeah. And
can you give our audience and our listeners a concept of the Big Door Prize? Dare I say it's a small town called Deerfield, and dare I say a magical, futuristic, like a star signs in terms of the horoscopes, this sort of machine that sort of flipped out cards of horoscopes in terms of what people should do in terms of their lives. It was like a black sort of mystic Meg box, dare I say?
Yeah, well, it's based on a novel by Emma Walsh. And I mean, it's really just people finding out, what their purpose is, like who they are. And it's this machine kind of telling them specific things and descriptions, and it might not necessarily fit what the person is doing in their life. And so I think it is just a story about identity and environment and being true to oneself, and finding out, what makes you as an individual happy. So.
And Gillian, can you tell us, enlighten us in terms of your character, Lydia, sort of what role does she play within the concept of the Big Door Prize? Is she a student of Mr. Hubbard's, Dusty Hubbard?
Yes, she's one of the students at Deerfield High, and she is definitely the student that is kind of the know-it-all, kind of like the teacher's pet. She really values her intelligence, and values hard work and discipline. That's kind of her motive.
And is it her longing for attention? Is it just attention seeking in terms of Chris O'Dowd, or is there a bit of a secret sort of an affection in there in terms of her character as well, or is it just being the drama queen?
So for me, this wasn't written in the script, but I kind of was like, I feel like she might have like a crush on a teacher kind of thing. Like she seems like that kind of person. So as an actor, I made that decision. So yes, she does have a little bit of a googly eye for the teacher, but that was more of a me decision as an actor for my character. But she's a teacher's pet for sure.
And obviously 10 episodes in season 1. What was the production like in terms of, were there long sort of shoots in Georgia and Atlanta, Georgia? And were there long sort of working days? And did you start this project after COVID? So was there little or no interruptions on set?
Well, we started this production in the beginning of 2022. So a good bit like after COVID, but COVID is still a very big part even today of, safety protocols and everything. So, whenever you go to set, you have to get tested prior to going to set. You're tested on set. They want to make sure that nobody on production has COVID, is testing positive. And so unfortunately, we had already started filming, and for one of the blocks of episodes, I tested positive, and so I couldn't participate in those blocks of episodes. But so yeah, it's still, COVID is still very much a very big thing. But there are very long days on set. But it's a very tight-knit cast, and it's not a hard day. It's just it's fun.
And dare I ask, were you the sort of, in your own sort of school days, in your own sort of teen days, were you that sort of rebellious type as well? Were you that sort of tomboy type girl, or was it very much a doey gooder in terms of being in school? So was it a bit to play against the norm, the sort of role for you, or did you have past experience? Did you know how to do it all dare I say?
No, I was never a teacher's pet. I was definitely more of a tomboy, but I did like to excel in school. I was definitely like at the top of I was a very studious person, but not like I never had a crush on a teacher or anything like that. No.
And Gillian, I do believe you've travelled to Houghton, County Wicklow. You might enlighten us the experience of visiting Ireland, and obviously you weren't chasing Chris O'Dowd around, you weren't stalking him. So what was your reasons, dare I ask, coming to Ireland?
So I did a study abroad program with my university, and we went over to Oxford in England and studied Shakespeare for 2 weeks. And then my friends and I were like, well, we're already in England, we might as well hop on over. And we went to 5 different countries in 9 days. And so Ireland was one of our stops. And I have some Irish in me, and I wanted to kind of see what that heritage was like. And we went over to those, it's like this mountainous area, and there's like cliffs and this beautiful like ocean, and it was yes, and it was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I just sat there for hours, and my friends and I, we just took in the view, and we walked around, and there were horses, and it was so cool. It was awesome. We really, really loved our time in Ireland.
And I suppose, Gillian, in terms of the Big Door Prize, in terms of concepts and teams running through, apart from that sort of prediction and sort of fortune telling, is it a light-hearted type of comedy? Is there any other sort of concepts or teams running through it, or is it based on this whole sort of futuristic prediction?
I think it's, the theme of knowing yourself is really important to me, and how I kind of see a lot of what is going on with the other characters, of being able to question your identity too, and being open to change. It's very lighthearted, but it's also I think grounded in truth and in, you know, it does explore different types of relationships and different conflicts in those relationships. So I think it's a very well-rounded show, but funny, but funny nonetheless.
And Gillian, obviously 10 episodes in season 1. Dare I say, are you still waiting on Tinder hooks, whether there might be future seasons in the pipeline, or is that up for discussion, or are you just waiting to hear the news?
No, it's not up for discussion. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but we're in the middle of doing season 2 right now.
Okay, fantastic news. So dare I say, Chris hasn't been able to escape you there, yes, in terms of your classroom hysterics as well. And were you aware of Chris O'Dowd as an actor before, in terms of his work, in terms of being attached to this project, or was it very much learning on the job in terms of learning who he was? Because I know in America it's like you in terms of Irish actors, your Liam Neesons, your Colin Farrells, they would be very well known. But Chris O'Dowd, while he has an awful lot of popularity in Ireland and the UK, his name mightn't have spread to the USA, dare I say, in terms of Atlanta, Georgia. But were you sort of familiar of him?
Yes, I know him. I mean, I knew him from Bridesmaids, and I loved him from Bridesmaids. And I also watched some episodes of his show that's on Netflix, but it was an older show. I believe it was like the IT Crowd, right? And I really enjoyed those episodes. He's a very funny comedian, and has great physical comedy as well. But I mostly knew him from Bridesmaids.
And Gillian, I suppose you've been to the east of Ireland. Is the team now, to dare I say, you've done the East Coast, but there's 2 coasts in Ireland. The West Coast is yet to be discovered. Is that, dare I say, you have to come back and do both sides of the country?
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Are you going to pay for the trip? Because I'll come. No, I would love it. Yeah.
And Gillian, finally, for the last 30 seconds, you might enlighten all our audience, our listeners, why they should tune in en masse on March the 29th to channel Apple TV to watch the Big Door Prize. And what's in store for them?
You should watch the Big Door Prize because it's beautifully written. It's very funny. The characters are really well done. And the story, I think, will make people not only laugh, but there is an element of introspection that I think lacks in a lot of television today. And I think that it will make people think and laugh and cry and feel and all of the beautiful things that you want from a television show.
On that note, from me, Jim Conlan, it's a pleasure speaking to the wonderful Gillian Rabin there today. Do check her out. She plays Lydia in the Big Door Prize on our TV screens across Ireland on March the 29th on channel Apple TV. But all that's left to say from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Gillian Rabin, stay safe, take care, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem.